Let's dive right into an incredible story of empire, escape, and invention that literally shaped the world as we know it today. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to travel back in time to explore the Umayyad dynasty. Think of this like an epic blockbuster movie, filled with massive conquests, brilliant minds, and an empire that stretched all the way across continents.
But hey, before we get into the kings and the epic battles, I want you to picture something. Imagine trying to fly through the sky wearing absolutely nothing but a pair of wooden wings covered in feathers. It sounds totally crazy, like something straight out of a comic book, right? Well, someone in our story actually did this. It just proves how daring and advanced this civilization truly was. Keep that wild image in the back of your mind as we start our journey.
So here is our quest map for today. We're covering 1. The rise of the Umayyads. 2. Expanding the empire. 3. Building a strong government. 4. The great escape to Spain. 5. A golden age of learning. And finally, 6. The end of an era.
Chapter 1. The Rise of the Umayyads. Our story kicks off in a place with some seriously rich history.
We're looking at a timeline that maps out a huge adventure. This wasn't just a short blip in history. We're talking about a massive empire that started in 661 CE, grew incredibly fast, completely collapsed, and then somehow managed to build a stunning sequel in Spain that lasted all the way until 1492.
It all started in the oldest continuously inhabited city in the entire world, Damascus. What's super interesting is how the founder of the dynasty, Amir Muawiyah, chose his capital. Now, Damascus has been around since 2500 BC, and its name literally means a well-watered place. Amir Muawiyah relocated his government here because he wanted to build a grand, glittering court. He wanted to rival the magnificent Byzantine and Persian empires, the ancient, wealthy superpowers that came right before him.
Chapter 2. Expanding the empire. Now, this empire definitely didn't just sit still.
The Umayyads rapidly pushed their borders outward in completely opposite directions. Have you ever heard the phrase, burning your boats? It means doing something so bold that you have absolutely no way to turn back. Well, in the West, a Berber general named Tariq bin Ziyad took an enormous risk. In 711 CE, he invaded the Iberian Peninsula, which is modern-day Spain. After landing near a giant rock that was later named Gibraltar, meaning Tariq's mountain, he ordered his troops to literally destroy their only ships home. Yep, you heard that right. There was no retreating. Motivated by a powerful speech, his men marched forward and actually defeated the Spanish king Roderick.
And while Tariq was making that legendary push into Europe in the West, something else was happening. Simultaneously, a young, brilliant commander named Muhammad bin Qasim was conquering territory thousands of miles away in the east. By 712 CE, using some really clever military strategies, he secured the lower valley of the Indus River in Sindh. The Umayyad borders were stretching faster than anyone could have ever imagined.
Chapter 3. Building a strong government. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a ruler for a second.
How on earth do you manage a massive territory stretching all the way from India to Spain without smartphones, emails, or the internet? The secret is centralization. Think of it kind of like forcing the whole world to use the exact same USB chargers and the exact same money. They made Arabic the official language of the government, they standardized Arab coins and weights, which made doing business and trading across different continents instantly smoother. Later on, rulers like Umar bin Abdulaziz took it a step further. They built extensive roads, canals, and even medical dispensaries and rest houses for tired travelers.
A perfect example of this immense wealth and architectural genius is the Dome of the Rock. Built in the late 7th century by Caliph Abd al-Malik in Jerusalem, it isn't actually a mosque, but a massive, monumental shrine. Up until this point, Muslim armies had focused mostly on conquering, but by building this shining gold monument with its intricate Arabic inscriptions, Abd al-Malik gave Muslims a grand historical focal point of their very own.
Chapter 4. The Great Escape to Spain. As we know, every massive empire eventually faces a crisis.
And this brings us to one of history's absolute greatest escape stories. In 750 CE, after a period of internal money problems and fighting, a rival group called the Abbasids totally overthrew the Umayyad dynasty in Syria. The Abbasids hunted down the Umayyad family, and honestly, it looked like the end of the line. But a young Umayyad prince named Abd al-Rahman managed a thrilling, terrifying escape. He fled all the way across North Africa, finally reaching Al-Andalus, which is Muslim Spain, and he established a completely new dynasty there in 756 CE. Talk about a comeback.
Chapter 5. A Golden Age of Learning.
Let's see how this amazing Spanish sequel became a brilliant beacon of light and knowledge.
Abd al-Rahman ruled from a city called Córdoba. He really wanted to remind his people of their roots back home, so he began building this incredible structure, the Great Masjid of Córdoba. Just look at the multitude of columns and those distinct red and white double horseshoe arches. They were actually designed to look just like the Arabian date palms from the desert oases of their ancestors. And incredibly, because it was built so well with marble and those unique arches, it survived major earthquakes and still stands in perfect condition today.
Now, while the rest of Europe was struggling through what historians call the Dark Ages, life in Córdoba was shockingly advanced. It was a true supercity with over 500,000 people. Get this, when most people in Western Europe only bathed a few times a year, the people in Córdoba had running tap water right in their homes. And when the sun went down, they were walking down streets brilliantly lit by street lamps hundreds of years before any other European city figured that out.
A massive reason for all this success was a remarkable culture of teamwork and tolerance called La Convivencia, which means harmonious coexistence. In cities like Córdoba and the frontier capital of Toledo, Muslim, Jewish, and Christian scholars actually worked together peacefully. Brilliant minds like the Muslim scholar Ibn Rushd and the Jewish scholar Maimonides produced groundbreaking work in medicine, astronomy, and philosophy. They translated ancient Greek wisdom, and eventually European scholars translated these exact works into Latin. That translation effort directly helped spark the famous European Renaissance.
And hey, remember that question I asked you at the very start of our explainer about the flying machine? Well, it was right here in this incredibly inventive society that a scholar named Abbas ibn Firnas became fascinated by mechanics. He literally constructed a pair of wings out of feathers in a wooden frame and attempted to fly 600 years before Leonardo da Vinci. He even built a planetarium that simulated real thunder and lightning. It just goes to show how much this society valued science, discovery, and taking bold risks.
Chapter 6: The End of an Era. Eventually, all things must pass, bringing us to the conclusion of this vast historical timeline.
Over 700 years is a long time, and as the centuries went on, the Umayyad power in Spain slowly began to weaken. But even as their territories shrank down to just the southern city of Granada, the Muslim rulers left behind mesmerizing architecture like the Alhambra Palace. Built first as a military fort and then transformed into a magnificent palace, its mind-blowing decorative craftsmanship is so beautiful that today it is a protected UNESCO World Heritage Site.
The story finally concludes with a historical period called the Reconquista, which literally means to recapture. In 1492 CE, the Christian forces of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella besieged Granada. The last Muslim ruler, Muhammad XII, was officially expelled along with his family. After more than 700 incredible years, Muslim rule in the Iberian Peninsula officially came to an end.
But their legacy? It definitely didn't disappear. I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder today. When you look at how fast technology moves, the advanced medicine we rely on, and the science you study in school right now, could we ever have gotten to where we are today without the brilliant, tolerant, and daring minds of Al-Andalus lighting the way during the Dark Ages? Thank you so much for exploring this epic history with me, and never stop questioning the origins of our world.